48 Ford truck, and we're going to take it for a quick spin and show you around the truck. It's got a 350 with a 350 turbo automatic transmission. Engine runs great, a lot of power. Transmission shifts perfectly. Truck steers really nice. I got my finger up, kind of showing you. It does have a little bit small steering wheel, and if it was me, I mean, I like grain steering wheels, the wood grain ones like this, but if it was me, I might think about putting a little bigger steering wheel back in it. It doesn't have power steering, so the smaller steering wheel, you can feel the steering in it just a little bit. But just a good driving truck. I mean, this truck drives nice and straight, brakes straight. It doesn't steer hard. It's not that. Just kind of mentioning that about the steering. It doesn't steer hard or anything. It actually steers easily and steers straight. Just kind of my opinion about the steering wheel, you know, because everything in the inside, other than that, it looks fairly original. I'm gonna leave the engine running so you can hear it. One thing I think is definitely was an injustice when the guys built this is the exhaust is really too small. This truck and this power of this engine deserves a bigger exhaust. This is a really great running engine. Go ahead and turn it off and we can look around the truck a little bit. I'm just gonna double check. I actually don't even think. Let me just double check while we're doing. Yeah, they didn't. There's not even any mufflers on this truck. So it's got the shorty style headers, and then they go right down to like 1.25 inches, maybe 1.5 inches muffler. It's just really undersized. And I know the guy who built this engine and put it in the truck. He said he had asked a buddy of his to do it, and so I think this was kind of maybe a favor or something. So that would be one thing. I actually thought about going ahead and taking the truck right to a muffler shop and having them redo it. But then you know, the thing is, it still sounds really cool, and it just really depends on what you're looking for. So when I put these trucks up for sale, beautiful under the hood, by the way. I mean, obviously this is a rat rod styled truck, but just a really nice engine detail. Not perfect, but really nice. I love the old Oldsmobile Cadillac style air cleaners. They just look really retro and cool. But anyways, I didn't want to mess with the exhaust, as I was saying, because that's another thing to let the next guy who buys the truck do it. You know, it's who knows, you might want to put, if it was me, I'd probably put a 2.5 or maybe even a 3-inch exhaust all the way out the back. So anyways, at a glance, this truck is you know, obviously a rat rod style, if you want to call it that, or patinaed style truck. But I want to tell you, I turned down the book because the guy who built this actually took a year or more to build it. And him and his dad built identical trucks. In fact, I'm trying to talk his dad into selling me the other one. But parked next to each other, I'm telling you, they're identical. His is a 48 and the other one is a 50. And it just meant so much to him that to keep those pictures. But he literally took this thing apart. Any rust spots, he welded in new parts. There is no rust on the body of this truck. So even though it has this paint job, so he said they spent almost 60 hours doing this paint job, layer after layer, multiple colors of the flat brown, then with the black over the top of it. He put 3 different colors of black on top. I mean, they really painstakingly painted this truck to make it look this way, and it looks awesome. It is consistent from bumper to bumper. And the only thing I was considering, if I was going to keep it, that I might think about doing is shooting a glossy clear on it, but it just depends on what you're looking for again. So I didn't want to do that for the next guy, and then they say, oh, I wish we would have left it satin. So I went in all that to say the body on this truck is very, very straight. And actually, if you were looking for something to restore, the body on this truck is very, very straight. But I think the value is in it as it is. This is just a very desirable look in today's market and at today's car shows. So I just want to say the fenders are all really nice. The bed is in really great shape. A couple of little dents. You know, there's a dent here. The bed is actually just an old steel plate. It's pitted from, you know, surface rust. But the top of the cab is in fantastic condition. All the cab is in great shape. The cab corners are new. Bottoms of the doors rust-free. Hinges are rust-free. I mean, I'm telling you, this is a rust-free truck. It's made to look rusty, but it's all paint. The body is super, super straight. Obviously, they did a bumper delete in the front, so it kind of gives it a unique look. I like the bumpers, so I would consider putting them back on, but it has bumper delete in the front and a bumper delete in the rear. And it looks really great the way they did it, with a little tuck and roll in the back. So really tastefully done, and a lot of hard work, metal work especially. There's a lot of welding done in this truck, and a lot of, you know, just taking good care of it. He did say he started with a really good truck to begin with only a few little rust spots. So this is just a really, really sharp truck. Nice clean dash. And typically on these trucks you actually have a hole here where there would have been either the vent cover or a radio. So in the place of that, he welded a spot in, cut 2 holes in it, and put these gauges in, which do work. The original gauges, some of them work and some of them don't. I believe the speedometer works. I don't think that the fuel gauge works. The oil pressure is over there. So it's not very expensive to fix those. LMCtrucking.com sells the new gauge kits, and you basically just run every wire where it goes, pop it in, run all the wires under the hood where they go, and then all your gauges are new and they work. The headliner in here looks great. This is actually a seat out of like a C10, I think, or something like that. So it's underneath this is just cloth. It's got this brand new Mexican blanket cover on it, which just looks really nice. But you know, if you want to take the truck to the next level, you'd probably want to have it professionally upholstered. But I actually really like the way this looks, and it makes it to where you could take this truck to a car show right now. And actually, they had piles, I mean piles and piles of trophies for this truck and his dad's matching truck. They parked them next to each other in the garage. I wish I had a picture, because the garage was filled with trophies just off this truck and his dad's truck. And they had tons of pictures and people with it. So there was a radio. Oh no, I forgot there was a radio in here. Yeah, CD player works great. 6x9s. I know it's crazy. I haven't had this truck for too long, and most of the work I've done to it's just engine detailing and things, so I haven't actually driven it a lot. I drove it some when we first got it, but I'd forgotten about the radio. So that's awesome. Having the radio hidden in the glove box is a great plus. The doors open and close good. They do, the handles are old, and so you do have to put a little effort into them. Windows roll up and down nice, though. Felts are newer. So old weather stripping around the vent windows is older, but the glass in the front and the rear looks like it's been replaced, and the weather stripping is new. Underneath the truck, it's got some just the old undercoating. You can see flaking off and stuff like that. So I didn't, we'll look for rust even while I've got the camera here, but I don't remember finding any rust. Superficial surface rust. Keep in mind, you know, this was built to be kind of like a rat rod. You can see where the old floor pan there, and then a new piece of steel was put in on top of it and welded in from inside. So old original floor pans for the most part. A couple of spots where they've been patched and cleaned up. There's actually a very old wood bed back there in the back of the wood, in the back of the bed. It's got a Ford 9-inch rear end. And And the underneath of this truck was not ever really detailed. That wasn't important to this guy. It was the body and everything. And like I said, keeping with the theme of it kind of being a rat rod, you know, you really don't, you know, or kind of a hot rod shop truck, you know, you don't really, you know, detail the undercarriage. But if you wanted to, you could get under here, you know, and blast this frame and have a whole nother truck if you want to take it to the next level. I don't think I would ever do that, and I can't imagine the next guy who buys this truck wanting to do that. These are American Racing style wheels, match. They're actually 8.5s in the back, 7s in the front with staggered tires. The tires in the back are like new. The tires in the front, they have almost brand new tread on them. Tires in the front have almost brand new tread on them too, but they're a little bit older. If you get right up on them, there's a touch of cracking on the edges. Wouldn't keep me from driving the truck at all. I don't think it needs new tires. Just depends on how particular of a driver you are. So there you have it. This is a 48 F1 short bed pickup truck. Just a really, really cool truck. And it's really ready to drive right now. I mean, this truck has been taken to a lot of car shows over the years. It was built about 10 years ago. And I think whoever gets it next is just gonna really enjoy it. Great truck.